Hello and welcome to This Week in Atheism, brought to you by the Center for Atheism. This Week in Atheism is a panel discussion based on articles and current events of interest to atheists, freethinkers, agnostics. And I would like to introduce my panel. On my left is Genevieve Joy. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
And on my right is Omar Formanchumo. And the first thing I want to discuss is an article that appeared in USA Today recently, and it's entitled, "Court, University of California Can Reject Christian School."
Yay!
Well, the plot thickens. A California federal judge has ruled that the University of California had a, quote, rational basis, unquote, for rejecting science and history courses taught at Christian high schools. Calvary Chapel Christian School in Murrieta, California, and the Association of Christian Schools International had charged that the university had an unconstitutional admissions process because it refused to certify courses that taught creationism and other beliefs. Private school students are required to meet certain high school requirements before they can be eligible to apply to one of the undergraduate campuses of the University of California. U.S. District Court Judge S. James Otero ruled recently that concerns about a course whose primary text was called Biology, God's Living Creation, was deemed by the University of California experts to have failed at teaching critical thinking or the theory of evolution in an adequate manner.
No duh.
Yeah, well, the judge also said the University of California reviewers found that a text published by Bob Jones University entitled, that's Bob Jones University, sorry, titled The United States History for Christian Schools taught that, quote, the Bible is the unerring source for analysis of historical events, unquote, and did not include modern methods for historical analysis. In these cases and in reviews of English and government text, Judge Otero said the Christian school defendants did not adequately refute the findings of the University of California's reviewers. The judge also found that the university system did not reject the courses out of animosity. So in other words, basically, if you don't have the requirements to be at the University of California, you don't get in. And
well, Bob Jones University is not even an accredited university.
Is that true? Well, I would think not.
It's not. It's not. That's
so
that's run by what? Pat Robertson? No, by
no. It's run oddly enough by Bob Jones.
Oh,
Junior.
Right. Somehow.
I don't know. I didn't apply for their brochure, so I don't know exactly who's running Bob Jones. But
I think this is great
matter.
news. I think this is excellent.
Well, yeah. I mean,
they're standing up, you know, especially when they try to sneak in this BS crap, i.e., into the educational process.
Well, yeah. The thing
It
is,
seems that it would go without saying, though, because kids who apply to colleges, like, there are several issues where kids will maybe graduate high school a year early, but they still don't have enough classes that they can go to college, so they'll still have to take a year off and matriculate in or something to make up that time. And if you don't have you haven't studied the basic subjects and you don't know anything about evolutionary theory or history, then why would you be allowed to apply to college?
Isn't it kind of weird that all these people, just getting slightly tangential, but that these people who are against teaching evolution or considering evolution science actually benefit from science as the result of evolution, that all kinds of these new treatments and drugs and basically evolution has influenced so many other scientific disciplines that basically it's kind of odd that these people get on the internet and have their television shows, which are the result of science, and basically condemn science. I mean, it doesn't make sense to me. It's kind of
Well, I don't think it's considered the same kind of science. Anything that conflicts, right. I mean, anything that conflicts with what's in the Bible isn't the same thing as.
Right,
I would think that science in form of technology, as opposed to evolutionary theory, but technology would be different because that would be sort of God planting intelligence into people so that they can more easily spread His word. You could justify it that way.
They can justify anything through that circular way.
Sure, but it's harder to justify sort of cold hard evolution.
Right, and technology is needed, and it's not an immediate philosophical threat the way evolution is.
Of course
But
not.
but it's still, I mean, why didn't they just go apply to Bob Jones University then? You know, if they're so into believing and taking their creed from the Bible, I mean, this is a course, this is the biology course.
It's not the
that
kids,
they're
though.
teaching.
It's the kids don't have. The kids want to go to a regular college.
Go to your Christian university then.
But it's not the kids. It's the families that choose.
Get a degree from freaking.
I'm not finished.
Theology school. What is it?
It's the kids were put in this school against their will, maybe, because their parents chose this elementary school, high school for them. This is what they were taught. They want to go to a real college.
Well,
maybe they want a real education.
Well,
now they can't have it because of the choice that was made for them. It's not. They shouldn't go apply to a Christian college. They should take a year off, go to a junior college, and make up all of the crap that they didn't learn that they were supposed to learn.
Well, but the reality is that it isn't even a matter of whether it was against their will. I mean, they were extremely naive. If you're kind of taught this stuff from the day you're born, and they send you to high school and you learn that God went poof, I mean, unless somebody tells you anything different, that's what you're going to believe.
Right, but you're criticizing the kids and saying that they shouldn't be trying to go to real school.
Well, then their parents should tell them, kids, you know, let's go this route then. You know, let's keep it in the Christian
Well, if their
family.
parents did that, then we wouldn't need a show, would we?
Damn you!
All right.
Got all the answers today, huh?
Right, okay.
Well, but the argument is that
I'm on fire.
Oh, boy.
they brought on the suit at the Christian school because they thought they were being discriminated against.
Well, yeah.
Didn't they think they were going to lose? I mean,
Well, here's the thing.
I was say how stupid can they be?
They know they can't win.
Know the answer.
They know they can't win on pure scientific basis, so they try to get around it by they start whining about
discrimination based on
their religion.
Right, on their religion.
And it's not. If one reason why I'm not performing surgery right now at Mount Sinai Hospital is because I'm not qualified to be a surgeon. And basically, whether it's because it so happens I've never taken the courses and acquired the skills necessary to be a surgeon. That's why I'm not practicing surgery at a hospital. So whether it was because I believed in the pink unicorn or I believed in magic of some kind, it doesn't matter. The fact is, bottom line, I don't meet the requirements to be a surgeon, so therefore I don't practice surgery.
Right.
And the same thing here is that there are certain requirements of knowledge that in order to be in the University of California, you have to know about, and if you're being taught magic instead of science,
astrology instead of astronomy, right?
Or anything like that. If you're being taught magic instead of science, then you're not qualified to continue on.
I also think that maybe the repercussions are positive ones in the long run. Like imagine they handed down this decision, right? So the kids finally realize, hey, what we've been taught all this time is being bullcrap. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's we really have to incorporate ourselves into the mainstream.
But is it just California, or is it
sure.
happening everywhere?
So far, it's California.
Well, in this article,
it's only California who's been sued that it's been made an issue out of. But do regular universities, state universities, admit there are entrance exams to universities?
That's correct.
There are requirements to going to school that you have to be of a certain level of basic education, or you can't go. So why would any school accept, unless it was a private Christian college that taught the same thing and they were on the same, why would any public school accept a kid who hasn't got the basic education behind them?
Well, one positive aspect of this is that a lot of times, let me see, what was this, who handed this down? No, it was
a state court, no?
It was a state court. It was
a federal judge.
U.S. District Court.
Okay,
that's right. It was U.S. District Court. And a lot of time, when these things happen, a lot of times that sets a precedent.
Yeah.
So
we can build on that.
Yeah. So what happens is that if it happens in New York, or it happens in Massachusetts, or some other state, this sets the precedent so that the various Supreme Courts of those states
are aware
and can overturn
this is all
it
for
based
the
on
good.
this.
But seriously, this is all for the good of the students. These are college kids obviously, you know, they want to pursue a career in science or biology because
Well, not
they need the
necessarily.
requirement, right?
They want to go to school.
They want to go to school.
But maybe
Right.
they want to go and study.
I mean, sooner or
Maybe
later
they
they're
want
going
to
to
go
find
and
out
study
about
squid
science.
fishing. You know, it doesn't matter whether that was the first thing that came to mind, but it doesn't
Marine
matter whether
biology.
they're planning on studying biology. It doesn't matter whether they're planning on studying
Right.
biology or science or not.
There are certain core
the point is
requirements.
that they need to know it just to be there.
That's right. There are core
And
requirements.
they should need to know it just
And
to
they should
be
need to
there.
know it.
The
Absolutely.
conflict is that to hold in mind, and what was I just reading? Dawkins in the book, The God Delusion, says that some people say that, well, to have a scientific view and to have a religious view and to say that, you know, science answers why or whatever, and God is the rest is God, which is
God of the gaps, I think, is that what they call it?
right, which is the same theory that was C.S. Lewis's when he wrote The Mere Christianity. Is that they are incompatible. You can't really do that because they are incompatible. Evolution doesn't work given the
Fossils, hello.
no, evolution doesn't work given the premise that there's an intelligent creator. It's
not
one of
necessary.
it's one or the other. It doesn't
Right.
It doesn't work. So to force a kid to study evolution before they can come into school is the same as forcing a kid to reject Christianity. You have to reject Christianity to be a
certainly-
scientist. You can't.
That's going to blow out its mind.
Well, I think that goes off into a kind of a different thing, a wider subject, because I think there are scientists that are believers in religion.
Yeah,
I think,
a lot of them.
But the difference is that
They try to separate
they
them.
compartmentalize.
They're
Yeah, they
separating
compartmentalize it, and they don't. And I
They're
don't
schizophrenic.
Care, I don't care how whether a science teacher is a churchgoer or not, as long as he or she does real science when they're doing science.
Some people also,
Yeah,
most
you know.
scientists are not really religious people. They may
That's true.
go to church and they may call themselves Christian or call themselves Jewish because of a traditional background or because, you know,
Like
out of
socially
respect.
acceptable,
Right. Or out of
The
respect for the
community and
family
stuff,
they grew
right,
up
right.
with.
Nominal,
Or
right.
if they're Jews, they're dead. I mean, they may not want to give up that, but when it comes to their job, when it comes to what they really know, most of them, if pressed, will admit that they do not believe in creationism and they do not believe in God, really.
Right. There are, I think, with the National Academy of Scientists is like 75% atheist or something like that.
Right.
And the rest of them are,
and,
you know, they just don't want to. They don't want to upset, you know,
They're
their
in the
family and
closet.
their.
Yeah, I don't think the majority of scientists are religious. Whether the majority are atheists or not, I don't know. But I that's at least what I would surmise, that the most of them aren't religious. But in any case,
I think this is good news.
The
Like you
idea,
said,
the
it sets a
reason why
precedent.
but the reason why it's going to be controversial is because, again, we get back to the question of does the state have the right to tell a kid that they can't be 100% Christian and come to their school? Because that's what it comes down to.
I don't think. Oh, I don't
If you're
agree.
going to be
I don't
100,
agree.
yeah, it does, because if you're 110% Christian, you accept creationism, you reject Darwinism,
But it doesn't.
Is
It
that all
doesn't. I
right?
think the law is set up
but they just have to know about it.
that it doesn't matter what they actually believe. They've got to show that they have
The
fulfilled
requirement, right.
certain requirements. So.
But these teachers will spin it and say to teach it is against God. We're not even going to touch evolution. It's against God. It's wrong. It's evil. And
Well,
to
Well, then
be
it's for you.
Christian,
They
don't-
won't be
I
able
think
to
there's
attend
like
a
12.
California
I think there's
university.
12% of the. There's some kind of statistics that there's 12% of the teachers in the United States believe in creationism of some kind or intelligent design, but the vast majority, certainly, they wouldn't be qualified to teach at the University of California. So I don't
Plus,
think.
religion is supposed to be private.
I don't think. I don't
Keep it in your
see. I don't
house.
see it.
No.
I don't see it as
Right,
as
freedom of
trying to
religion is
force
private.
is penalizing somebody for having a religion. There's certain requirements that you have to have, and I don't see the state as being. The state, it is not only not obligated, it's obligated to not. You can't let somebody in
Problem is-
because if they don't have the requirements, and that's all it's done.
That's what it
now,
boils down
you
to,
may be right.
basically.
The
But
de
it is-
facto, the result may be.
The result is, I mean, I am right, because if I go to a college interview and I say, Earth is flat, and they say, I'm great, you're not coming to school here. And then I say, God made Mary, or whatever, God made Adam and Eve and the snake and stuff, it is equally ludicrous. But if I back it up with, that's what the Bible says, I'm a Christian, I consider myself a Christian, they can't reject me for it.
They can't reject you for being a Christian, they can reject you for not having the
requirements
but
that are listed
Christianity equals hocus pocus.
That's their problem, but that's the problem of the individual student. That's the student's problem.
No, that's the problem with the way that it's the problem is that people are still Christian and people still accept it.
Well,
I think there's a million things wong with being Christian in today's world. I think it's
stupid. Or you wouldn't be an atheist.
Right, I think people should be held accountable.
But on the specific sense that we're talking about here, that's really the problem of the student. The student doesn't have the requirements. Bang, they're out. It's not.
Regardless of
and it's not
to do with
and they have grounds.
But they won the lawsuit. The state won. They're not being forced to not be Christians. They're being
forced to fulfill the requirement. If that goes against what they think, then too bad.
That's it. That's the bottom line. Now you may be right over the long haul. Somebody who's really a devout Christian and wants to believe that Adam and Eve were real, and the Easter Bunny really exists.
All I'm saying is that once you put the label of religion on something, suddenly everybody's afraid to criticize it because we have a sensitivity about criticizing somebody's religion. So
that's what we're working against.
Obviously, but my point is that
in this case they won.
It's great that they won, but
let me just.
They'll have an argument, and it's a stupid argument.
Let me just cover a kind of going the other way. This was in
New Jersey.
New Jersey. It's in the bulletin, and it's the title is "The New Jersey School is back in court for banning Christmas." New Jersey School District found itself back in court Thursday defending a policy banning Christmas music only during the Christmas season. A father had sued South Orange Maplewood School District over the policy on his own behalf and on behalf of his 2 children. He, quote, "The Constitution prohibits school districts from adopting policies that disfavor religion." He explained, "Contrary to popular myth, our Constitution does not require complete separation of church and state. It affirmatively mandates accommodation, not merely tolerance of all religions, and forbids hostility towards any. The school district's policy is plainly unconstitutional." The controversy rose in 2003 when the school district, citing concerns over separation of church and state, banned all Christmas music from the school. Prior to the change in policy, Christmas music was played at school during the holidays since 1967 with no complaints.
Now this is a different case now.
Yeah, it is a completely
different
That's so silly.
Are they banning Bing Crosby music or like the Carpenters? Like is that?
Yeah, I mean that's really.
Or I mean, I listen to that.
I know when I was going to school. A friend of mine went to this one high school, and they would have a Christmas pageant. We had it every year. In this particular school, they'd have Christmas music and Hanukkah music, because those were the only 2 religions represented at the time.
We had Chinese New Year and Kwanzaa.
Wow. Well, you were lucky, but
so I mean, I guess the argument here is kind of valid in a way, like because they're going against Christianity.
It's a valid argument.
It is a valid argument.
Pick your battles. Christmas music, really. I mean, maybe that's just me because I happen to really like Christmas music, so I don't want to be on the side.
You don't have to believe in God to appreciate it. It's nice, it's catchy, get it out of your head.
Look, Christopher Hitchens loves Christian music.
Yeah, or Christian literature.
And there are a lot of famous atheists that actually love liturgical music.
Yeah, but that's different too, because the greatest musicians and the greatest artists of the time, nobody could afford to pay them but the church. So they were always commissioned to write music for the church,
regardless,
to make art for the church.
It's not about
the best
musical
quality of the time.
Right, but it's not about musical taste. But according to this, after the law
I guess it is propaganda, though, on a level. It's not really any better than saying the Lord's Prayer in class.
Would playing Jingle Bells, for instance, be considered Christian music?
Jingle Bells isn't the same as Oh Holy Night.
That's right. I mean,
that's holiday music. That's seasonal, but it's not. There's holiday seasonal music, and then there's
Frosty the Snowman or something like that.
Okay,
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Deer.
But Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Right.
Versus, I don't know, what's a why
Come
am I
all ye
blanking?
faithful.
Come all ye faithful.
Come
Right.
on, what?
I mean, it is.
No, wait a minute.
It is. Yeah, it's touchy because. I mean, he's one of those things where it gets really crazy because.
But they're back in court. It means that they were there before. And
Well, here's the thing: is after the lawsuit filed on behalf of Michael Strategic, the school district amended its policy to ban Christmas music only during the Christmas season.
See, that
So they can
doesn't
play
make
it every other time?
So you can play the Christmas music at school during Easter under the policy, said Brian J. Rooney, spokesman for the Law Center.
Yeah,
Like,
that kind of
he's just
stupid.
trying to
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
just trying to mess with them.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I guess that must be what it is. Even if the purpose was neutral, the policy is not in the clear. If the effect moves away from neutrality, then constitutional violation. I don't know. It is kind of one of those weird things.
Yeah.
The case was originally dismissed by the federal district court for lacking constitutional claim. The Third Circuit Court of Appeals overruled the decision because a categorical ban.
Yeah. On exclusively.
Excuse me.
Because
Categorical ban.
a categorical ban on exclusively religious music enacted with the express purpose of sending a message of disapproval of
Right,
religion appears to be to state a claim under the First Amendment.
Yeah.
We conclude that complaint survives the motion to dismiss. So I don't know. I don't know what they haven't come to any conclusion. One of the central issues debated was whether Christmas music was the same as other forms of religious activities such as prayer. Attorneys for the Law Center were adamant that Supreme Court precedent established the fact that prayer was not on the same level as music. So it's a little more.
Yeah, that's a tricky one.
This is very. It is very.
Music is also a cultural thing. It's also like I don't.
Yeah.
I kind of think, again, and some people disagree with me. I think theology should be taught in public schools. I think it should be a mandatory thing. I think everybody should learn.
But all religions.
Comparative
Comparative theology. I think comparative theology
yeah.
should be taught in every school.
Yeah.
I would be embarrassed if my child did not know who Moses was. I think it's important. I don't think it should be taught as history, and I don't think that it should be taught as or like as social. I think it should have its own thing because it's a huge part of our lives, of our social.
And it teaches tolerance too.
And it teaches tolerance, and it also, you don't know what these parents are telling their kids when they get home, and they need to know that that so many Catholics grow up Catholic, and they don't even really know what it means to be Catholic outside of what the Catechism tells them, which is and part of it, that should be part of education. And Christmas music, it's a cultural.
The Carpenters.
It's a cultural thing.
Yeah. Mariah Carey, I have her album.
It's fantastic.
That Christmas album.
I don't.
Chicago has a really good Christmas album.
I don't own any
too.
Christmas albums. I don't have any Christmas music at all.
That's bah humbug you.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's just.
You can't watch a Scrooge either during Christmas season.
Well, in any case, here's one from outside the United States. I don't even know how to pronounce this name. Kozhikode. Where
what country is that?
Apparently this is in India.
Oh, okay.
The Kerala Sunni group is to take anti-textbook stirs to mosques. A prominent organization of Sunni Muslims in Kerala has decided to hold a campaign through mosques against a controversial Class 7 social science textbook, which they say promotes atheism and communist ideology.
How is atheism communist?
Well, because the social science textbook was introduced this year by Kerala's Communist Party of India Marxist-led government. Religious and political organizations allege that the book promotes atheism and communist theology. We have decided to tell the people about the textbook at mosques. The campaign could be launched.
Don't buy the freaking book.
Well, this is something that's going to be placed in classrooms, I guess. It is a textbook.
They're Muslim. It's the same thing. Like I'm sure they don't.
I don't know.
Nobody's
In
forcing
state
them
schools, I don't know. Earlier addressing the meeting of clerics, Umar Faizi said it's better to die than live without religion. Faizi told the organization that he did not foresee any opposition from the community to raise the issue of textbooks in mosques. Those who oppose this move are a small minority, and they will not dare to raise the issue. Yeah, I bet they won't dare to raise the issue. They'll wind up being beheaded or beaten or stoned or whatever they do to people that dissent.
But India, I thought the majority were Hindus.
But there's a strong, there's a strong Muslim class, Muslim not class, but Muslim segment of the Indian population.
But this is just the Sunni Muslims.
This is the Sunni Muslims, a social science textbook.
They're the renegade Muslims.
So we had kind of a cross section of all kind of 3 different articles with 3 different points of view about the effect of religion in schools and in science textbooks, and I don't know. I don't know.
See, if there weren't any religion, that would have saved us a lot of money in taxpayers.
I don't. That's probably true. I don't know. I don't know what to say about the Christmas music. They haven't decided on it yet, and I guess having a social science textbook in this particular part of India, in their schools is, I'm guessing it's probably got evolution in it, or even without it, just regular science, which apparently is a threat to the, well, not apparently, it is a threat to the religious establishment over there.
That is so typical over there.